Hi everyone, it's Lesley from Hungry Heavy Crafts. I have another card featuring Lawn Fawn because I love them so much. This card features a lot of masking. I was fussy cutting and sticking and just having lots of fun. So please stick with me. There is a lot of masking, but there's other techniques shown on the card as well. So I had an idea to create a card that kind of looked like a picture hanging on the wall in a tavern of a mermaid that a sailor saw at sea. So I laid out my stamps with my dies just to get an idea of what the final card would look like. And I've got that on the left here. And my actual project is going to be built on the right on a piece of watercolor cardstock. Once I had an idea of where I wanted everything to be positioned, I'm starting with the image that's going to be the furthest at the front, which I figured out was this little cupcake, which comes from the Lawn Fawn Beep Boop birthday collection. And I've stamped it onto my card, and then I've used a piece of post-it note to create a mask. Next up is my mermaid, and I want to make sure that the little cupcake is resting on my mermaid's hand. So I've stamped her on there and then covered her with a mask as well. The next layer is going to be my little palm tree. And that's from the Life is Good stamp set. And once again, I'm stamping that onto my post-it note paper and creating a mask. Next up, I'm going to stamp the little sea, and I'm putting that a little bit further down, not touching the mermaid, because there's going to be an island. And just watch what I do here. I stamp it just like this, and then drop my stamp. So I've got a bit of a stamped image that I didn't mean to have at the bottom of my project, but if you stick with the video, you'll see how I just made that work closer to the end. So I've masked off the sea now at the bottom, and I'm going to use this little mound to create an island, and that is also from the Life is Good stamp set. It's perfect for coordinating all of these beach themed stamps all together. And I've stamped that on, and I made sure that it overlaps everything, like the sea, the mermaid, and also the palm tree as well. I'm going to add a ocean line along the bottom, or the sea level, and then on the top of my sea I'm adding in the distance this teeny weeny little ship, and that is actually from the Lovable Legends stamp set. So now I have my sea level in the back in the distance. I can see my ship, and I'm just going to cut out a mask for it and move over to my inking. And I've masked off everything on the bottom layer because I'm going to concentrate on creating a little bit like a, what's it called? A sunset using some peach tones and orange tones. First of all, I started off by trying to use this shaving brush, but I couldn't quite get the coverage that I was looking for. So I moved over to a smaller stippling type brush, and it did take a little bit of time. It only put a little bit of color on in one application, so I had to go back and forth, but it's a really easy way to build up super soft, subtle color. So I'm using my apricot, melon, duckling, twirling tutu, and rosy cheeks inks from Simon Says Stamp. These are dye-based inks to create that sunset scene. And as I remove my mask, you can see it a little bit better. It pops out against the white of the card. Next up, I'm going to do my water. I'm masking off the island. And I'm using the other side of the masks that I'd created for the sea to make sure that I'm masking off the sky now. So for this, I'm using the Lake Shores ink pad from Simon Says Stamp. And once again, it took a little bit of time because the actual stippling brush is quite small. You can get larger ones. There are inking brushes now available from Clarity Stamps, and they would do exactly the same thing. So perhaps you could look at investing in some of them. I think I need to. I didn't want to get any ink onto the bottom of the island, so I had to mask off the island again. And you can see now that I have my sunset and the ocean. And then last up is the island. And that takes care of the bigger inking areas. And for this one, I'm actually just going to use an ink blending tool. I'm not worried if this one pops a bit more because it's more of the focal image. All the other images in the card now, when I reveal by pulling off the mask, they're much, much smaller. So instead of using ink and brushes for that, I'm going to just color them in using my watercolors. So I've grabbed my watercolor palette and a small paintbrush and some clean water, and I'm going to just paint in all of the other white areas on my card. So I think I'll give this mermaid some Ariel colored hair. I think that's the go-to color for most people. Lovely reddy pinky red color. And I'll add some color to the rest of these images. And make sure I give her some rosy cheeks. And add a little green to the top of my palm tree. And although I want my sails to be white, I'm giving them a little bit of a really light grey colour so that it doesn't look stark white. Okay, so now I have this panel completed. I've got my rectangular die that I want to place around, but I'm going to have to be a bit strategic now because I don't want to get that mistake in the bottom. So I decided that this would be a good area, moved over to the right a little bit more, but then this area here seemed very bare, so I thought that my project needed something extra. I thought a little fish peeking out would be really cute, but I wanted it to be smiling, and I didn't have a smiling fish, so I'm using the head from the little turtle in the Critters of the Sea stamp set. So I'm masking off the area that I don't want to stamp. Stamping his head, so he looks like his little head sticking out, but I want it to be a fish, so I need a fin on top of it, and I'm going to use the tail from this little tiny fish to go there. I couldn't use that fish originally because it was pointing the wrong way, and I wanted to make sure my fish was looking at the mermaid. Now it looks like the mermaid's giving the fish a birthday cake. So cute. Right, let's cut this out. And I have my mermaid panel. Next up, I'm using my craft cardstock, and I'm going to cut out a scalloped frame using the same size of stitch rectangle die along with the all prettied up die from Mama Elephant. And I'm labeling or numbering the 4 sides on the back of my frame, and then I'm going to cut from the corner into the inside corner so that I have 4 pieces of cardstock that I can then run through my embossing folder to give it this wood grain effect. The reason I number them together is so that when I place them back onto the card, I have them matched up perfectly. So to stick them together, I cut another panel off the scalloped rectangle die, and I covered it in some adhesive, and I'm sticking this all together now. And I think it looks like a photo frame. Doesn't it look like a photo frame that would be hanging? To finish off the card, I wanted to add a greeting. So I'm using this big scripty words, big scripty greeting stamp set from Lawn Fawn and the coordinating die to cut that out. And I also added a little bit of stamping to the top of the panel so that the card read, "Have a happy day." Once it was all stuck on, that was the card done. Thanks so much for joining me today for this fun mermaid photo frame type card. I hope you liked it. Please hit like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more videos from me, Hungry Heffy from Hungry Heffy Crafts. Bye now. Have a great day. Bye.